Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Dice Masters with James and Zach. I'm Zach.
And I'm James. Hello.
Hello. We're back with another combo video this time. This one featuring the White Lantern Dove.
Ooh.
I've been waiting to get my hands on this card for a while. I just got it thanks to Andy May. Thanks a lot, Andy. But mostly for shenanigans. I don't think this is like a super meta relevant card. But I do think that there's some pretty fun combos you can pull off, like this one. And this one has the benefit of being infinite damage.
Ooh.
So bring it to all of your, 60 life events at your local store. Anyway, so you see most of my mat is blank because we're just going to focus on the parts that make up the combo, and there are only a few pieces that you need to make this particular one pull off. So we're going to use the White Lantern Dove. This is a super rare from the Batman set. She's got all 4 energy types. You can't use question marks to purchase her, but her ability, while White Lantern Dove is active, whenever a character deals damage to you, deal 1 damage to your opponent. Okay,
Ooh.
that's going to be important. And then we have the common Mr. Mixpitalik. Did I say that right?
Mixie Spitalk.
Mixie
I don't know.
Spitalik. We looked this up ahead of time, and it's still possible. Okay, while he's active, at the beginning of your turn, target character die becomes a copy of another target character die. And that's going to be important as well. And then we've got the Rocket Raccoon, not a raccoon from the Civil War set. When Rocket Raccoon attacks, deal 1 damage to each player. So one of the things I really like about this combo is that none of these are when fielded effects, and it doesn't require any actions or anything. And so I can just leave all the pieces in the field until I'm ready to go. I might need to protect them in some way, and so I have plenty of spots available on the team for things like that. So here's how the combo would go. At the beginning of my turn, I'm going to use Mr. Mixie Spitalik, sure, to make one of my opponent's characters a copy of White Lantern Dove. So I have a White Lantern Dove in the field, and now they technically have a White Lantern Dove in the field as well.
Thank you kindly, sir.
Yeah, there you go. So James now has a White Lantern Dove in the field, and then I either field Rocket Raccoon or he's already in the field or whatever. We finish the main step and we go on to the attack step, and I attack with Rocket Raccoon. So Rocket Raccoon's ability deals both of us 1 damage. I go down to 19. James goes down to 19. And normally that would be the end of it. But White Lantern Dove says, whenever a character deals damage to you, deal 1 damage to an opponent. And a character just dealt damage to me. So because I'm the active player, my White Lantern Dove will resolve right now. And James will go down another life to 18 because of White Lantern Dove's ability. But don't forget, James has got a White Lantern Dove out in the field as well. And he just took 2 different sources of character damage, one from Rocket Raccoon and one from my White Lantern Dove. And so I am going to take 2 damage. Ouch, ouch. But each one of those sources of damage was from a character. It was from White Lantern Dove. And my White Lantern Dove says whenever a character damages me, I deal 1 damage back to James. So now I took 2 damage. He's going to take 2 damage. He goes down to 16. I took 2 damage. He's going to take 2 damage. I go down to 15. He goes down to 14. And what you can see is this is going to keep going forever, pinging back and forth between them. But I'm always 1 life ahead just because I started the chain off first. And so at the end of the day, he'll be at 0 life and I'll be at 1 life. And thanks to the WizKids rules forum ruling about the Super Jocasta, as soon as he dies, then the game is over and I win, even if I'm literally about to die from the damage coming back at me.
Was that a Jocasta ruling?
Yeah, I think there was a ruling about doing damage, but then they're blocking with Jocasta, and that would cause the other person to be dead as well. And like all combat damage is simultaneous, but the damage was like in the attack step or something. And
I thought it was
so
a vicious struggle, really. But no.
yeah, that as well. So anyway,
Yeah.
in this case, you can see that as long as we start off at the same life, or if I happen to be a little bit ahead, it's a little bit more of a cushion. The soon as Rocket Raccoon attacks, it starts off this infinite chain of pings going back and forth, ultimately resulting in James's death and me being at 1 life.
Well, I'll see your White Lantern Dove and I'll raise you a Captain America Man Out of Time.
Ah, yes. So it turns out you don't actually need a superhero to pull this combo off at all.
When Zach mentioned this to me yesterday, I think it was, it reminded me very, very strongly of something that was a thing back in the day, also involving Mr. Mixie Spitalk, but instead of the White Lantern Dove, you would use Captain America Man Out of Time, who's a 5 cost.
Hmm.
whose text says, Zach, since you have the card in front of you,
While active, each time you take non-combat damage, deal 1 damage to an opponent.
brilliant. And since it doesn't take character damage, you can actually trigger it with a global. And what better way to trigger it than something like Luke Cage, or there's that bloke from Gotham, isn't there? What's his name? You have to pay 2 for it, but it does the same thing anyway. Some global which does damage to both people at the same time.
Yeah, so I mean, Captain America is a 5 cost, not a 4 cost, but you only need 1 energy type to get him. And using that, you could use Luke Cage and not have to buy a 3rd character, which is always pretty helpful. They would need to have a copy of Captain America in their field, just like the last time. So you can either use Mr. Whatever, and then
or you could rely on your opponent bringing Captain America Man Out of Time.
you could rely on that as well. Or you could also use the rare prismatic spray, which allows you to swap some of your characters with some of your opponent's characters. And so if you bought 2 copies of Captain America, you could give 1 to your opponent, and then they would have 1 as well. So either one of these would work for this particular combo. But the outcome is basically the same, right? We both start off at the same life, or if you're lucky, you're a little bit ahead. You make one of their characters a copy of Captain America. You trigger Luke Cage. You both go down to 19. You immediately fire off your Captain America to put him at 18. And now you can see that I'm going to take 2 damage, 1 from Luke Cage and their Captain America, and then 1 from my Captain America, triggering their Captain America. And then they're going to take 2 damage, and then there's a whole flow chart we could probably draw. But in general, the outcome is just the same. You're pinging damage back and forth because each of this is non-combat damage. This one actually you could fire off in the main step, I just realized, before you even pass priority.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Whereas Rocket Raccoon you'd have to attack with, so they might have a little bit of an opportunity in the global window.
I'm hot on attribution, so I think I'm pretty sure that the original with Prismatic Spray appeared on one of Patrick Barley's, Shadow Mel's podcast, and I remember sitting in the car outside Lidl listening to that and thinking, "Wow,
this does have the air of a Patrick Barley type combo to it." So,
and then when that Mixie Spittle came out, which was I think World's Finest, I actually managed to pull this off in a tournament. It's not just a theoretical combo; it does work. I remember playing against Dano. Hello, Dano, and he had some Black Lantern business going on, the sort of stuff that, what does it do, return things to their cards, or I don't know. And he was trying to set that up, and I managed in the meantime to get my 2 5 costs in the field, and then I triggered Luke Cage, and then I wasn't very happy.
Yeah, sorry about especially if your opponent doesn't know that it's coming. It can be kind of a rude surprise to realize that all of a sudden they've taken an infinite amount of damage.
Yeah, that's the sort of thing that makes people dislike you.
Anyway, use at your own risk. But there you go.
It can be countered. We were going to talk a little bit about counters. It's fairly easily countered if you know what's coming, because you can ping. If you've got somewhere pinging out Mr. Mixie Spittle, he's got very low defense and he has to be alive at the start of the turn.
Yep.
In order to trigger it. Or if you've got some way of redirecting damage, that would probably interfere with the chain.
Or even preventing damage, right? There's some globals that do that as well.
Or blanking, obviously. This was in the days before Shriek.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, obviously, if you were going to play this team, you'd want to have protection against those kinds of things. And there's plenty of space on the team. I mean, you do need to be able to buy and field 2 5 costs, although fielding costs on these aren't too bad. And so you don't need a ton of ramp or anything, but you would want to make sure you could prevent yourself from being targeted by globals with like a Wonder Woman or something, and potentially have your own blankers as well. But
you just want to do it really quickly. Just get them out really quickly before anyone realizes what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, especially if your opponent doesn't see it coming, they'll just think they have all the time in the world and they'll take it easy. So I think we did highlight once upon a time a Giganta infinite damage combo, but here is another one that you can try out on your friends, who will quickly become not your friends.
Thank you very much. Hope you enjoy it.
I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye-bye.